Oh,
Yeah, you know what sucks?
what?
Since I've been sick the last couple of days, I've been like craving McDonald's, and I know if I get it, it's just a disappointment.
Because you're not gonna taste anything.
No, I taste everything. It's just gonna be a disappointment because it doesn't taste very good.
Oh, because it's McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, I could just really go for like a cheap ass fucking burger right now, and then I'm like, oh, but that's a cheap ass burger. No.
Well, TBS Sportscast is not sponsored by McDonald's, and I don't think we ever will be after that.
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not either way, but. All right. What's on the docket first? We always talk about last week's games, right? We check in with locals, with our local teams.
Sure, and we usually go by time order, so because you had the London game, Brendan, you get to go first because
well,
I'm not waking up at 9 o'clock for a fucking London game.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it certainly was for the first half, being down 17-3 and having no semblance of an offense whatsoever. But Brian Daboll is proving that he is the king of second half adjustments. They come out of the half and the offense all of a sudden wakes up. They're playing more to Daniel's strengths, and they even ran that one. They ran their Wildcat once, and Saquon went for 41 yards. And they slowly crawled their way back into the game, and the defense really steps up. So credit to Wink for making the defensive adjustments at halftime and complete. Also, this has to go without saying, because I've been hearing nothing but Grossi rants for the last 3 days, is why the fuck did you not run the ball?
Oi!
Why are you up 17-3 and you're still trying to play hero ball? Like,
yeah, at that point you should be on clock management.
You don't need to. You have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon who are gashing the Giants for like 6 to 7 yards of carry, and they can't. The Giants can never really stop anybody on run defense. It's crazy. Like, we went into this season thinking our run defense was going to be the stronger part of our defense, and it turns out that our safeties and our lack of corner depth is actually like paying off. I think McKinney has taken the next step from last season as a safety. I think Julian Love has played really well, basically picking up where he left off last year. So they're not running the ball. They're just trying to air it out, and it's like Atlanta in the Super Bowl. They're like, all right, we're up big, and Kyle Shanahan's like, all right, let's keep throwing it. Like, what? Like, I know you got Aaron Rodgers, but who's he throwing to?
LaFleur does come from the Shanahan coaching tree, so he learned from the best.
True, he learned how to throw a game from the best, and the Packers threw this game as much as the Giants won it. As weird as that is to say, because usually one or the other happens. I don't think the Giants win this game without the Packers throwing this game, and vice versa. Overall, though, great, big upset win, has to be said. Great momentum game. We're 4-1. We're still tied for second in the division. Looking at you, other tied for second in the division team. And this week, we've got Baltimore, who can throw a lead as good as anybody, as we've seen this year.
Yeah.
But honestly speaking, and maybe it's just the pessimist in me, but if there's anybody who's going to gash this run defense, it's Lamar Jackson. So despite Baltimore's best efforts to blow leads this year, I think the Ravens are going to win this game, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a coming down to earth. Maybe we're a playoff team, but we probably still have a lot of work to do, because winning covers up the stench of things.
Yeah.
This isn't a contender, like we're ahead of schedule. We're like the 2018 Yankees? 17? Yeah. Where they were expected, they might be a wild card team, and then they win 103 games and they win the division. And it's like, all right, well, now you've got massive World Series expectations.
Yeah.
I I would like a wild card spot. Like, I think if they're getting it, they have to get it in that 7 spot. But I don't know if it's sustainable. They've got a tough stretch of schedule coming up. It's starting with Baltimore, and yeah, I think it's just going to be a little come down to earth. They probably lose this game like 30-23 or something, and we'll just see how they adjust and go from there. I think if they could, if the coaches can establish them playing good football for 60 minutes and not just banking on halftime adjustments again, I think they have a chance. Because after the Packer game, I can't really rule them out of any game.
I know the feeling.
So yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. Giants are 4-1. I'm definitely happy about it, but it's a hesitatory happy.
Okay. So me and Puzz both had the 1 o'clock. So I don't know who wants to.
You can go for it.
Okay.
I might go for.
I mean, I think for you, like, it's gonna be a quick. It's gonna be like there's not much to say about what the Bills did, because I mean,
What the Bills did was akin to mass murder.
I witnessed a murder.
Yeah,
You witnessed about 22 counts of murder.
It was like that section of the like Earth documentary where the hunters go and club all the seals.
Oof.
Yeah. But so.
And the seal with the tiniest hand is Kenny Pickett.
Yes. So the Jet and Dolphin game, that went a bit more different than I expected. I figured that Bridgewater was gonna actually be maybe a bit better than Tua, or at the very least, he was gonna be okay because he had Waddle and he had Tyreek Hill. And then we took him out of the game in the first play. Well, the first offensive play for the Dolphins, but still. Maybe he shouldn't have been out for the whole time. I didn't see a wobble. Like, I've looked at the footage. I don't know what the concussion spotter saw. I'm like, now I think you're overcorrecting for what happened to Tua. But I'm not going to complain because now you're playing a third string quarterback. But I was shocked and actually thoroughly impressed with what the Jets pulled off. Yeah, like, offensively speaking, well, the Dolphins had a third string quarterback, but in years past, the same old Jets would have lost to that third string quarterback and just been woefully underprepared. Now I think that, the fact that they got a strip sack fumble recovery, they got an interception, a timely interception at that. Yeah, things were a little close in the third. I believe the Dolphins came within 2 and actually had an opportunity to take the lead at one point. And then the Jets kind of woke them up, and they're like, okay, we gotta finish this off really quick. And it was just rushing touchdown, fumble recovery, rushing touchdown. It was all about rushing touchdowns. But, I know that the score was 40-17. It wasn't all like that, but they really came alive in the fourth quarter. And it was a good win at home, breaking the streak of 12 straight losses to AFC East teams.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's a stat.
Yeah, you went 0-6 like the last 2 years.
Yes, the last win that the Jets had against an AFC East team, Sam Darnold was the quarterback, and it was against the Bills.
Yeah.
And I believe that was 2018 or.
Well, you drafted him in 2018, so
no, it couldn't have been that
19.
long ago.
No, it was 2019 because that was the year we were 7-9, and we definitely beat the Dolphins at least once. I think it was the final week of 2019. That was the last time we beat an AFC East team, and I think you guys were resting most of your starters.
Yeah, I think so too.
So it's does it really count? Not really.
A win's a win.
Yeah, a win's a win.
I mean, you got to count this win against the third stringer, right? So
yeah, definitely.
A win's a win.
I mean, Sauce Gardner is him. He is very quickly, like, the expectations are rising that, hey, maybe we have someone to replace Darrell Revis almost. Like, they're not gonna coronate him yet, but holy shit, he's already easily on pace for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
You see, ESPN ranked him as the second best rookie in this class so far.
Who did ESPN rank as the first?
Chris Olave.
That makes sense. Yeah. And who knows? Like, Breece Hall, this was a coming out game for him. Almost 200 yards from scrimmage. 100 receiving yards, and I believe 97 rushing yards.
Yes, sir.
He almost had 100, but he got tackled behind the line of scrimmage once for like a loss of like 5. So, and he got stopped on the goal line.
He had that massive catch. That it was a 19-yard catch from Wilson, and then a 60-yard run after that he brought down to the 1.
Yes, and then there was another one, which is I believe was another. It was only like a 20-yard. It was like a catch, like maybe 7 yards out, and then he ran it the rest of the way to the 1 for like an extra 17 yards or something. And then both of those I think ended up getting stolen by Michael Carter, because they were just like, oh, okay, Carter, run it up the gut for like 1 yard, and he would get the touchdown. But
Michael Carter.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I'll save my thoughts on what's going to happen with the Packers game for later, when I guess we're talking about, what we're going to do next week. But overall, I think I'm more than happy with where the Jets are right now. Like, at the beginning of the season, if you had told me before the bye week the Jets are going to have 3 wins, I would say that sounds pretty good, because the beginning of our schedule was looking pretty brutal.
Yeah, you seem to be in a good position.
Yeah, I think so. And I think people are finally taking us a bit more seriously. Like, they're like, oh shit, like the Jets aren't just like the easy W. Like, we actually have to, compete against them.
You're like you're like getting out of trap game range.
Yes. So,
or actually, you might be getting into trap game range, because it's like people think you're going to be bad, and then you're not.
You're actually good enough to win the trap games.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'll save my thoughts on Jets Packers for later. But that's what I think about Jets Dolphins.
I do want to say one more thing before Puzz goes, because I didn't say it during my recap, but I know he loves this player now. So at the end of the Giants game on the 4th and 2, did you see the clip of Rodgers tapping his shoulder and signaling that meant that it was a throw to Lazard? Guess who immediately picked that up and screamed it out to the rest of the defense? Derrick Henry leveler Crowder.
Nice.
Mr. Irrelevant, who has turned into a fucking rock on our defense.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You can't really draft that. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of just have to get lucky sometimes.
Yeah,
with
I don't know
dudes
who
like that.
I don't know who picked it up, whether it was Martindale at halftime or if the players actually just picked up on it, but apparently a shoulder tap meant to throw to Lazard, and they knew it immediately. And Tate Crowder calls it out. Rodgers goes for the quick drop back on 4th and 2, and I think it was McKinney and one other edge rusher got their hands up and deflected the ball down, and that was pretty much game.
Nice.
So
yeah, I'm surprised you guys won that game.
I think we all are.
Yeah. Like,
but
I woke up, I think it must have been at like 11 o'clock or something. I looked at the score, and it was like 20 to like 10. And I was just like, oh, well, the Giants are just going to keep it competitive, but ultimately lose.
Well, I can segue that into my experience on Sunday, because obviously that was the 9 o'clock game.
Yeah.
I was going to the Bills game. I was going to the Bills game, and when there's just that many people in the stadium, like, my phone just does not work, so I can't check things all that well. I have the radio going with our sports radio channel around here, and sometimes they mention it. Like, I remember last time I was waiting for week 17 to start because that was a 1 o'clock game. I can't remember who we played that last year at like week 17, but
the Dolphins.
I can't remember.
Oh no, 17, not 18.
But we played. I was in the car, and like the radio channel never talks about other games going on, but they were like, "Oh my god, the Colts are losing. Wentz just threw a pick," because that was the game that they lost against
Jacksonville,
the Jags.
Oh God.
So like they were all over talking about that. But yeah, I didn't hear anything about it until I got to my seat. And then at our stadium, there's like, out of town scores. And I saw that it was like 20, or what was it, like 27-20 or some shit. I was like, what the fuck? I was all amped. But yeah, I'm super glad you guys are winning. Some Bills fans are like, we don't like the fact that Brian Dable is like doing well without the. I'm like, dude, let him. I mean, shit, man. Like, fuck. I don't know.
We don't like
understand
the Giants because we should have won that Super Bowl.
I don't understand. No, it's mostly like Brian Dable issues, and I don't know why. But like, I think it's just like, I don't know. Some fans are just really weird like that. Like, if anyone leaves the team, they become instantly an enemy. I'm like, dude, he's like, they're in the NFC. Who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, like I would get it if they like moved into your division.
Yeah, if they became like the Patriots coach, I'd be a little fucking pissed off. But, I'd be rooting for him to go down in a smoking car fire. But anyway, Bills game, Bills versus Steelers. I expected the Bills to be held out of the end zone a little bit better than what just happened.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think if we rewind the tape, you said you expected a murder. That's what you got.
I don't know. Either way, like, I didn't expect it almost get 40 points against a Tomlin-led team. Like,
yeah, you kind of expect them to be more competitive.
I thought we were gonna win by 2 scores, like, but Jesus Christ, like, they just couldn't stop anything. I mean, that defense without TJ Watt is just non-existent. And Fitzpatrick was still there, and that's why I was like, all right, I don't think a lot of shit's gonna happen over the top. Man, did we smoke Fitzpatrick all day long. Holy fuck. We smoked him. We smoked him on the 3rd play of the game to that deep ball to Davis that went for a 98-yard touchdown. And then we smoked him again with another like 60-yard pass to David or
the
to
one-hander,
Davis.
right?
Yeah, but like the one-hander was weird is that he caught it with his hand, brought it in, and it looks like Fitzpatrick like took it from Davis, and Davis was like, fuck no, and just like wrenched it back out of his hands. So I like it. But the important thing about that game that I've learned, obviously, is Davis is fucking healthy again, which is amazing considering we're playing Kansas City this week. Having Davis, the guy who scored like all the touchdowns in that playoff game against Kansas City, having him at 100% is going to be fucking huge. But I mean, to continue on with this game, I will say that even though the box score doesn't show it, Kenny Pickett looks legit.
Yeah, I know some people will say that, oh, it was garbage time. My brother in Christ, like everything from the middle of the first quarter on was garbage time. That's just the whole game.
I pretty much. Well, like, hold on, I'm gonna look up his stat line. I mean, like, it wasn't. No, yeah, it wasn't even garbage time, really.
He had, I think, over 300 yards of passing.
Yeah, which is fucking great.
Which, I mean, hey, look, I mean, as someone who kind of has to look for silver linings in quarterbacks a lot, Jets fans would be pretty happy with that.
I'd say. I mean, I think they got a good. He looks like he's going to be in the league for a while. He looks like he can, be like a Tannehill level quarterback or better. I mean, he's young, so his ceiling is a lot higher. Like, I'm looking at Pickett thinking like Tannehill's the floor for him, because he looked like he can move the ball well. His skill set, he had like a 65% completion. The one pick, like you said, he had a long pass of 30 yards against our defense, which is pretty good. I mean, like, he showed that he's capable to run an offense. And that was the first week that he played against, a team that he was prepared to play rather than just thrown in because Trubisky wasn't doing enough, and he moved the chains. He moved the chains, man. He had several good drives. Some of them just didn't end in points because they had to go for it on fourth down because they were down so much. And like who does he have to throw to?
Also, the play calling, as Tree has stated, is terrible. Matt Canada is not a good OC.
Yeah, they need something there too. Also, Pickens. I like the guy, that receiver that they have.
He has potential.
Yeah, I think so too. I think him and Pickens will probably develop over the time as time goes on. Yeah, great game. The Bills stayed healthy. They were even able to rest a lot of their important guys like halfway through that game, which is huge considering we're playing Kansas City this week. And literally the best possible outcome for the Bills in that game. It was great.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll mention, it's probably going to change next week because Kansas City does a great job after halftime, shaking things up. But the Bills in the first 5 weeks have only allowed 7 points after halftime, which is a crazy stat.
That is ridiculous.
This far into the season, yeah.
Yep. I think the Rams scored all 10 of their points in the first half. Titans scored their first opening drive touchdown, and that was it. Dolphins were the only team to score a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Ravens scored their 20 points in the half and then just shit the bed. And then the Steelers, they got their field goal in the first or second drive, and then that was it.
So what's crazier, that or the Lions getting shut out last week and still having the third best offense in the league?
Good segue. Good segue into our picks.
Yes. Because, I mean,
I can understand. I can understand a loss. Like I can understand the Lions losing, but how the fuck do you go from scoring some of the most points in games to suddenly just getting fucking goose-egged?
That is Bill Belichick knowing Jared Goff, and he's like, I dominated you when it mattered most. Jared Goff saw Bill Belichick on the sideline and got flashbacks.
I'm seeing ghosts.
Yeah. He's probably saw a lot more than ghosts.
I think he saw a whole ass fucking ghost army from like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so how did we do in picks?
Honestly, it was a good week for everybody.
Yes, it was.
So to recap, Puzz lost on his 1, which was the Lions, but made up for it with his 2 and 3 convincingly.
5 points.
5 points for Puzz. Liam with another perfect week.
Yeah, I gotta take him while I can now because man, I'm looking ahead and I'm like,
especially that we gave Brendan the extra 2 points.
Yeah, well, we were gonna get to that.
Told it. Yeah, thanks for spoiling it.
I'm spoiling it if you watched last week.
Oh. Yeah, so Liam with a perfect 6-point week, and myself with a 4-point week, but buoyed by the fact that I did predict Matt Rule's firing, which gives me 2 extra points for a grand total of 6, so I keep pace with Liam.
Yay!
The standings now are Liam's at 21, I am at 19, Puzz is at 17.
Yay!
Yeah! Oh, Ed, looking ahead to this week.
Looking ahead to this week, it is not great, my guy.
It's not.
It's really new.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take some Hail Marys on this one.
I've got my picks laid out. I'm feeling pretty confident about them, but I'm interested to see what the rest of y'all think. So, Liam, you're in the lead.
I get to go first.
Why don't you start it off?
Yeah.
Cue the music.
Oh, right. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I got music going. It's just not the right music.
Yeah. Let me know when the music's going.
All right. Go ahead.
You know what's funny? Before he starts, I'm looking at all these matchups and I'm looking at like all the starting quarterbacks, and they're just like 7 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Josh Allen has 14 touchdowns.
Yeah, and fucking Mahomes just passed 4 to Kelsey yesterday.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. He had like 25 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Okay, do you know I saw the craziest stat at the end of Monday Night Football. Okay. Patrick Mahomes, do you want to know what his win rate is in games where he's trailed by 10 or more points?
What?
You got to guess?
Well,
Either of you?
His win rate, so like
His win
percentage
rate.
or
Yeah, his win percentage of games where he's trailed by 10 or more.
it's got to be somewhere in the 80% or above.
I was gonna say probably like 762 or something ridiculous.
Well, okay, you guys have gone a little overboard with that.
Is it 656?
No, it's 58%.
Oh.
Oh, we're just looking for 58%. Oh, okay.
It's 58%, but second on that list is like Brady at 38. He's blowing everybody out of the water. This is all time.
Yeah,
He's up 20% on the next person all time.
I need to look at those games though. 'Cause,
Brady's
like,
also that's percentage. So Brady, you have to remember, has played far more, and that dilutes the percentage.
yeah, so
No, but this is only counting games where he's been down 10 or more.
yeah, but still, there's a bigger pool.
Like Brady's been playing since 2000. Like,
Okay.
There's going to be plenty of games where he's down 10 or more, and they don't win.
Yeah,
it's still a crazy stat. We're not
but
diminishing in that.
Out
We're
of
just
all of those games, Mahomes has come back to win almost 60% of them.
Yeah.
So you can be down like 24-10, be like, nah, they got this. They're fine.
I remember they did that. Who did they do that to? Was that the Texans in the playoffs? Or the Texans
Yeah.
were up like
The Texans were up like 35-0, and they lost.
yeah, it was like 48-0, and they lost. It was ridiculous.
All right, picks.
Yes. Crap, I was hoping we were gonna stall a little bit longer. All right.
Make those picks.
Is it weird that I feel like there's a couple obvious ones here?
I think there
There
are.
are.
and
I can see one. Well, actually, I'm starting to see the field.
I see one, and I'm probably
just kind
picking
of
that one.
I'm trying to debate like where I want them to be. All right, so I think I have my 1-point play. Even though they're looking pretty hungover from the Super Bowl,
Oh,
Yep, that's the obvious one right there.
I am going to pick for my 1-point play the LA Rams over the Carolina Panthers. The reason I'm only picking them as the 1 point though is that there have been times where the firing of a coach does actually fire up the team. Like, look, Matt Rule was not liked in Carolina. The only reason that he was able to last this long is his albatross of a contract. It's possible, not likely, but it's possible that the Panthers are going to actually come away with a sneak victory. However, Baker is out, Darnold is out. They're on their third string quarterback, so I mean,
they're on PJ.
Yes, they are. So, I don't know exactly how well they're really going to do. The Rams have looked pretty anemic, to be honest. They don't seem to be very competitive. However, I think this is the kind of game where they're going to actually come away with a win. So that's going to be my 1-point play.
Let's go. Rams just got carved up by Cooper Rush. It's the PJ Walker redemption game.
Yeah. Yes. For my 2-point play, don't think I've actually picked them yet this year. I think this one seems pretty obvious too. 2-pointer, I'm gonna go with the Chargers on Monday Night Football, beating Broncos Country. Let's ride.
Let's ride into the ground.
Into a wall.
Yes. Chargers barely escaped Cleveland with a win, but I would say that Cleveland is probably a better team than the Broncos. And for my fantasy team's sake, God, please, Keenan Allen, come back. Please, I beg you. But I mean, now they're saying Russell Wilson has a torn, pec, lat, bicep, something? I don't know. He's
got
something.
a torn pussy.
Maybe. Like, I mean, his fucking his cringe is tearing me apart. Cringe ass motherfucker. Yeah, I think Herbert is gonna probably chip away at the Broncos defense. They're actually gonna score touchdowns. I don't think the Broncos offense can score touchdowns. I'm gonna go Chargers as my 2-point. And my 3-point is, I believe, another one that I haven't picked yet. It's the Buccaneers over the Steelers.
No one has picked the Buccaneers yet.
I'm gonna be the first one to do it again, and because I believe I did that with the Bills last week, I was the first one. This is the only other game. This is the game where I'm just like, look, it's the Buccaneers have. They're still not impressing me in terms of what they look like, but the Steelers just. I mean, looking at that Bills game, the Steelers just suck. Like,
yeah.
maybe the Steelers will come away and they'll get like 14, 17 points, but I think the Buccaneers are good for 21, 28 points, somewhere around there. So, you know, let's call it 28-13. Even I'll just throw in a score just for the fuck of it. Like, I think the Buccaneers are going to pull away from the Steelers on this one, and I'm pretty confident in that. Confident enough to make them my 3-pointer for this week.
Okay. I guess I'll go next. I'm going to keep it nice and quick because my picks are going to be very similar to Liam's. With the only difference being my 1-pointer. My 1-pointer, I don't think the Seahawks are legit. And I think the Cardinals are a better team overall. Despite
Fair.
Cliff Kingsbury's best efforts to undermine this team, I think that Kyler will bail them out. It's a divisional game. They might be on the road, but
You got to get your Cardinals picks in too soon because Modern Warfare 2 comes out in a couple weeks. So
right,
times
gotta use them up. I think that the Cardinal defense, which did a good enough job to win that game against Philly, will do a better job against Geno Smith. But obviously, you know, only as a 1, so not if I lose that pick, it's kind of whatever. So Cardinals at 1. My 2-pointer, for all the reasons that Liam listed, I'm also going to pick the Chargers. It's, you know, Chef Russ has lit the kitchen on fire, and he decided to throw grease on it. The Chargers, even without Keenan Allen, their offense is still putting up a lot of points a game. Also, for my fantasy team sake, please come back soon, Keenan Allen, because I don't think I play Liam again, and I do still have Herbert. I like Eckler being fed, but it can't be sustained forever. So give the man some rest and give me some more touches down the stretch. Chargers for 2, and my 3-pointer. Yeah, it's the gimme game of the week. I mean, if you don't pick this game, I don't really know what to tell you. Buccaneers are going to walk over the Steelers, and it's not even going to be close. Tom Brady's going to pick apart what's left of this defense. Kenny Pickett is not going to be able to keep up. It's going to be like 27-10 or 27-16, something like that. Bucks 3. Puz, you're up.
All right. Some similar picks, but I'm going to shake it up a little bit. Just a wee bit. I feel like Minnesota's playing a little hot. They're 4-1. They're coming off of a win. Miami's kind of like looking a little shit, so I think I'm going to take Minnesota for my 1-point game.
Ooh.
You know, just to shake it up a little bit. They're playing down in Miami, but as we know, Miami's kind of like pretty fucked up with, you know, Tua being out and Bridgewater. I think Bridgewater will probably be back for next week, but I don't know, shaking it up a little bit. I gotta. All right. 2-point game. I think I'm going to continue to shake it up. I'm taking Baltimore over the Giants on this one.
I don't blame you.
I don't think that. So the Giants are just the worst 4-1 team right now. They deserve to be 4-1. They deserve to be 4-1. No, they do. They deserve to be 4-1. They won the games. How long can they sustain being like substantially above 500? I don't know. And I think Baltimore just, you know, I think Lamar he needs the money. I don't know what he needs the money for, but he needs it. And I think he's going to probably ball out against you guys to kind of prove it.
He needs the money for a bidet for his massive 2-minute drill shits.
2-minute drill shits. So I'm kind of shaking it up. And then I think I'm going to play it safe for my 3-point pick. Yeah, the give me is Tampa Bay, but I also don't think I'll be able to have a lot of LA picks with confidence. So I think I'm going to take a 3-point pick for LA over the Panthers.
The Rams LA team. Ooh.
Yes, Rams over Carolina, which has already been picked, but I'm going with a 3-point on that.
I was just waiting for you to drop Chargers after all that LA stuff because it's a gimme and they're playing the Broncos.
I mean, that one's also true to an extent. But Carolina just lost a coach. They're just going to go through personnel changes. LA is also 2-3, and I think the pressure's on a lot of those guys. They're also playing at home. Like, I feel like this is a game that they're going to be going in, and they're probably going to play their asses off to win this game because they have to. You know what I mean? Expectations are high.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Cup is kind of hurt. Donald and Cup, I think, didn't practice today. They might just be rest days, but they were listed with like foot injuries, I think, so they might not even play. So I'm taking a risk on that one. Those are the Puzz picks. And then I will shout out the most toss-up game, I think, in this entire week is Jacksonville at Indianapolis.
Oh. See, I think that's a bait game.
That's a game that I legit want. Hold on. What are the odds in Vegas? What does Vegas have?
Vegas probably has Jaguars as like 20-point favorites because they always beat them.
Well, no, they always beat them at home, and the Colts are playing at home. So
it's Colts by 2.
Yeah, that's really close. Like usually it's by 3. Like 2 is nuts. So it's Colts by 2. Yeah. Oh man, I think that could go either way. And the fact that it's so close on a -2 like that means that Vegas has no fucking idea how the game's gonna end. I would take. I don't have a pick, but I would kind of take Indianapolis on that one.
I think that's interesting because then you're thinking Indianapolis will break the curse.
I think they just. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's it. That's our picks, I guess, for this week.
I think the biggest toss-up game of the week and what's going to be an absolute shitfest is tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, I was about to say here's the other game that's kind of.
We talk about how first off. I want 3 hours of my life back from that Colts Broncos game.
I'm so glad I didn't watch that game.
Yeah, honestly, okay. Admittedly, it was kind of fun being in the Discord with Aviel and Justin and just absolutely shitting on this game. But at the same time, my God, was it some of the worst football I've seen. Like I would rather it just be a blowout because at least one of the teams showed up.
At least one team looks good.
Like here, nobody
no touchdowns.
No touchdowns. All field goals. And now I'm expected to fucking watch Carson Wentz and the commies go up against Justin Fields and the Bears? I cannot think of a least appetizing fucking...
If you don't like that, you don't like Thursday Night Football.
Well, good news. It's on Amazon Prime, so we don't have to watch it on TV.
Exactly. I gotta cancel my Amazon
We can
Prime
watch it for free on Twitch.
Yep.
Fuck. I just... Ugh, God, I don't want to watch it, but at the same time... it'll be the... well, wait. Well, I don't know if there actually will be Yankee baseball tomorrow because there might be rain. Do the Rangers play tomorrow?
Good
That's
question.
right, we got hockey now.
It's true.
Yeah, hockey's back.
Yep. Rangers opened the season with scoring in all 3 facets of the games. Zibanejad with 2 of those goals. They do play tomorrow. They play at Minnesota.
Thank God. Oh, okay. Maybe I can get some salvation out of this. I guess if this game goes bad, I could just put on the fucking Ranger game and, just be like, yeah, it's game 2 of 82, but I'm gonna treat it like it's the fucking playoffs.
Well, I mean, their last meeting, Bears at Washington Commanders, was
Never, because the
2019.
Commanders didn't exist, but no.
Well, 2019, and it was Bears 31, Commanders 15.
So Trubisky
And I
had a
think
decent
Trubisky was
game
still there. Yeah.
Trubisky against
against
the guy with the broken leg, maybe, or was that the year that
Taylor
he was
Heineke.
out? Oh, it was Heineke.
oh god.
or was that the year before Heineke had his breakout
I
in
don't
the
know.
postseason? I think he might have done that in the postseason. So yeah, Alex Smith.
Yeah, it might have been Alex Smith.
No, I thought Alex Smith, his leg would have been fucked by then.
I mean, it could have been, but
Well, let's see here. Interception. A. Peterson, left tackle. I'm trying to find it. Oh, Case. Wait, pass incomplete. Case
it was
Keenum.
Keenum.
Oh my god, it was Keenum.
It was Keenum.
30 completions out of 43 attempts, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Gross.
And now he's a Bills backup. Allen, please don't die.
Trubisky with a solid 3 TDs and 1 interception. That was back when, he was looking halfway decent.
It's Cordero Patterson.
To Taylor Gabriel. And Taylor Gabriel. It was, oh, you know what? I think I remember this because like Taylor Gabriel was like on the waivers for a lot, like, and then a lot of people picked up Taylor Gabriel, and like he didn't have another game like that and for the rest of the year.
Hey, Adrian Peterson was in that game. He had 1 rush for -3 yards.
Good job. Yeah, this game will be shit tomorrow.
16 to 12. I don't know.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna inhale some copium.
Actually, no, because
And-
these defenses are bad too. So the offense
Yeah,
will score more points.
I feel like I'm gonna inhale some copium. Bears 20, Commies 17.
24-20. Bears.
I'm actually going to take this a different direction. I think
Commies.
I'm going to take Commanders because they do have a better offense. They are playing against like one of the better defenses, believe it or not. The Bears have a good defense. They just don't have an offense. They're ranked 31st on offense and 32nd in passing.
This game really comes down to how Justin Fields does.
It's going to be how well the Commanders defend against the run, because that's all the Bears have is the run game. They have a mobile quarterback and they have that running back Montgomery, but I think he's hurt now, isn't he?
Maybe.
I think he's hurt. I don't know if he's going to be out for the game or
I
not.
think he's
I think his
questionable.
ego is just hurt because he plays for the Bears.
Yeah, he's very bruised. He comes pre-bruised.
Yes.
I don't know. I think this game is going to be like 24-17 Commanders. I'm giving them the home field advantage too.
He is not questionable. Oh, the crazy thing? Yep. The spread is pick'em.
Yep.
Is it really?
It's a pick'em.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think if the Bears were at home, I'd probably pick Bears, but I'm going to go with the home team on this one.
Well,
The Bears are home.
Oh, are they home? Oh, my bad.
Yes.
Oh,
This is
shit.
at Soldier Field. But even then, it's still a pick'em, which means that basically what they're saying is that neutral field Vegas thinks that the Commanders.
Well, that's what I mean then. If because like usually they kind of give the edge to the home team, so that means
home teams get 3 points.
you're right. So that means they think the Commanders are going to win then, but it offsets because the Bears are at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll stick with Commanders 24-17.
That's fair.
It'll be a 1-score game, regardless of what the actual score ends up. It'll be a better fucking game than last week, that's for sure.
One thing that I saw today, other than the whole Devontae Adams thing, which is fucking insane. Did you hear about these? Again, they feel like these come up like every other week. Rodgers retirement rumors?
Okay.
I haven't heard anything about this.
Neither have I.
So, Apparently, people, some within the Packers organization believe Rodgers is just going to hang it up after this year.
Good.
So
He could have a regular spot on the Pat McAfee show.
And you know who else should hang it up after this year?
Brady.
Brady.
I'd love it if Rodgers and Brady went away in the same year.
I mean, I think the reason why they're not is because they're playing fucking retirement chicken with one another. I feel like one wants to continue. Well, they're gonna play until they're dead now, and it's like that conundrum of like, there's a pile of money in front of you. We're gonna turn off the lights. If neither one of you take the money, you both win the money. If both of you take the money, neither of you get the money.
You both die.
And if one of you guys takes the money, that person gets the money and the other guy gets nothing. So it's like one of those fucking things where they're just like, they don't trust each other to actually retire at the same time. So they like, I don't know. It's bizarre. But, you know, Brady's also going through some marital troubles, and like he should retire just to kind of like get his life together a little bit. I mean, he doesn't need money. He's already won a fucking bunch of Super Bowls. Just let it go, man. Like, you did enough. And if anything, you coming out of retirement kind of like fucked your legacy up a little bit.
Yes. I think it did. Like, personally, I think he should have just retired after he won that Super Bowl and with the Buccaneers.
He had
like,
the perfect opportunity to retire on top.
Like, it was just like, okay, you know, he proved it to the world. He didn't need Bill Belichick. He just won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, with Bruce Arians as his coach. And guess what? He actually decided to develop a little bit of a personality while doing it. And, you know, I think that could have been fine. He could have retired. I mean, you know, even if he wanted to retire at the end of last year, it was like, you know what? You lost to the Rams. It was a good run. Like, you know, you were really close to beating the Rams too, if it wasn't for a Cooper Kupp fucking, you know, like, great play. You know, just go out on top, and, you know, let's not extend this process. But no, he had to pull a Brett Favre and be like, I retire, and then go, oops, sorry, unretire. Like, you know, and
at least he didn't unretire and then go to the Jets.
And then snap a pic of his dick to a fucking reporter. Yeah. That was...
Speaking of Brett Favre, not to derail this conversation,
no.
But
somebody needs to talk about it.
Yeah, like, he's going through so much shit that like the league is just ignoring. It's a big deal, like, that he stole money from poor people basically to make his stupid fucking football stadium or whatever.
No, it wasn't. It was a tennis stadium. I think.
Tennis, well, whatever. He took money from taxpayers that could have gone to better things, and he basically just took it, and knowing that it was taking it from like poor people programs and all that stuff. But anyway, the league's not talking about that at all. But oh my God, Devontae Adams pushed him, man. That's like, suddenly like the biggest topic in the world right now on NFL.
You watch that clip of him pushing that guy, and like he kind of falls down on his tailbone and keeps his head up. It looks like, how the fuck is that a concussion?
It's not. He's just fucking milking it. But there's a different angle where like the other angle, it shows just how sudden that guy fucking crossed in front. And Devontae Adams was like kind of like looking up, and he was just obviously like in his head. You know what I mean? Like he was just walking, but he had a lot on his mind. He wasn't paying attention to where he was walking, but you know, he's walking straight, and this fucking asshole cuts in front of him. Like, if that were a vehicle, that guy's at fault, right?
Yeah. No, because the vehicle's always at fault.
Well, no, I mean, like, if they were both vehicles, you know what I mean? Like, the person who's going straight has the right of way. If you turn left and cut in front of a guy going straight, like, it's your fucking fault.
Yeah, cutting in front of a team going down the tunnel isn't necessarily the smartest move.
Yeah.
Like I don't think, like, granted, like, Adams shouldn't have pushed the guy. Like, you know, like, if it were like a bump in a, you know, then suddenly it's like, oh, it was an accident. Like, Adams did shove the guy, and he was angry, like, you know. But I think the guy, like, pressing charges is...
It's stupid, but...
It's a little much.
He works in Kansas City. He's probably a Kansas City native, so he's probably just doing this as like a spite against another team. Like, if that was his own team that did it, you know he wouldn't do it.
Oh yeah, and you know that the Chiefs would probably fucking hit that guy up with like,
Yeah, here's some
season
tickets.
Yeah, like here's season tickets for you and your family, and here's a bunch of swag, and here's a Patrick Mahomes signed jersey, and
Yeah,
and just
I'm
a
pretty
bunch of
sure it's just all fucking smoke, and I hope to God that the NFL doesn't like fucking suspend Adams just for pushing a guy like.
I don't. They have a week to talk about it because I believe they're on bye now.
That's stupid.
I wouldn't suspend him. I'd fine him, but at the same time, I feel like they're just gonna suspend him so that he doesn't have to eat like too hefty of a fine. But I don't know.
I wouldn't even fine him. I would if I were the NFL. I'd be like, dude, grow the fuck up. You're working on the sidelines. It's kind of like, as much as I don't want to like really be a dick about it, like, you have a great job. You're on the sidelines like reporting for the fucking NFL. It's a privilege to be on those sidelines. So what? You got pushed. Like, you got pushed by a guy who just like he like lost that game because he wasn't in bounds on that catch.
Yeah.
Like, of all the fucking people you could have tried to cut in front of, it was him. Like, what kind of idiot are you? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the guy's just super entitled to, just let a guy fucking walk. Like, why did he have to cross right in front of Adams like that? And like I said, if you look up the other angle, that dude cut in front of him wicked fast. Like, they were going to bump into each other, no question. Yeah, he shoved, but I mean, the dude's like just amped up on adrenaline. Like, what do you expect?
And I've seen players who are leaving the game through the tunnels do some pretty bad shit as well, and they never really gotten in trouble. I think there was a case. It was the Jets and the Raiders. The Jets went to I don't think they went to Oakland. I think it was in New York.
Was this the Cover Zero game?
No.
We don't talk about that game.
I mean, we can, but no, this is years ago. This is like Chad Pennington era Jets, and I think they were at Old Meadowlands. It had snowed. They were playing the Raiders. There were some Raider fans, I guess, in the stadium, and they were like heckling the Jets as they were coming out. A Jets fan picked up like a giant chunk of like ice and like literally threw it at those Raiders fans.
Oof.
And like if that had been seen in today's NFL, like, that player they would have caught probably like an assault charge. Yeah, actually, because the ice hit multiple people, it could have been multiple assault charges.
So that makes more sense to press charges.
Yeah, because ice is fucking like that shit's
hurts.
dangerous. Like, yeah, like this was just a shove, and but I don't. Should Adams have pushed? No, but I'm not saying that like Adams was right for pushing.
No, but it happened so fast. You can tell that it was just reaction, Yeah, because he was just amped.
Yeah, but he'll I guess eat whatever misdemeanor charge, or they'll even probably like it'll probably go to a grand jury or whatever, and they'll just look at it and be like, bro, are you serious? Like, just get your money in civil court and get the fuck out. Like,
they'll settle out of court.
Absolutely.
It's just stupid that the guy's just doing this because he got money. Like, you know what I mean?
He saw the opportunity. Yeah, he saw the opportunity to get money, and he's getting money.
Those fuckers should just sign a waiver.
I bet that they do, but in this case, there's probably like some sort of legal mumbo jumbo where it's like, because it wasn't in the action of the game, because the game was over and he was in the tunnels and not on like what's considered the playing area, that
I mean, like, what's the difference between that and like, I don't know, like, the guy's running for a touchdown and just like slams into a dude on the sideline. Like, I guess intent, but like, to me it's so clear that he didn't intend to shove. Like, he shoved, but it was just like it was a reaction. Like, it was just so quick. It could have been his own fucking mama, and he would have shoved.
The word is malice, I think you're looking for.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just saying, like, it could have been his own fucking mother that crossed in front of him and he would have shoved her. Like, that's how fast of a reaction that was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could have been me.
Could have been a baby with cancer.
Yeah, Rodgers retiring. That'd be. I'd like that. Both of them. I don't really care for either of them now. Rodgers just like since 2020 is just. My God, like I'm not gonna get political about it, but dude, it's just like so cringe. And Brady, you know, fuck him. There's no politics involved there. Just fuck Brady.
Agreed.
As for other rumors, I don't really know how much validity there is to this, but there is a small rumor that the Bills are interested in making a trade with Carolina now that they're obviously done for the season already.
Yep, to get McCaffrey.
To get the glass man. It fit right in up here. We're all banged up to hell.
Oh, glass gets brittle in the cold.
Yeah. Do we need him? No. Do I want him? Yeah, yes. You know, I think he would add a lot of value, but it's like this offense is already like crazy high powered. It's kind of like the same argument for me and Odell, but with Odell, I'd rather have, even though we're really stacked on receiver, I'd rather have Odell because you can sign the guy and then not give up anything. But with McCaffrey, if he was a free agent, hell yeah, let's bring him on board. But what would we have to give Carolina for McCaffrey?
A couple of high-end picks.
Right.
Yeah, you're probably talking at least a first.
A first and like a third.
We would have to like.
I would think a first, a second, and a swaps of thirds.
We would have to like Rams it, I think, a little bit and like really leverage our own future to just take one big swing for the Super Bowl this year.
I mean,
to be fair,
how old is McCaffrey?
In running back years, he's getting up there.
Yeah.
So
like if he were to sign with us,
but in human years,
if he were to trade with us and come over to our team, it would probably come with a restructured contract and a re-signed contract, basically to end his career here, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
26.
Or at the very least, he would spend the rest of his prime years.
Yeah.
With you, and then maybe he would like you would cut him, and then he'd go to some other team. Probably get like some change of pace, back rolls, and then eventually he would retire.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think from an outsider's point of view? Would you like?
Would I do it?
Would you, if you were the Bills and you had an opportunity to pick up Christian McCaffrey, which, you know, a running back, which we haven't really had since McCoy, and even then McCoy was like only good for the first year that we had him. And that's arguable.
What I'm going to say is that the value of the picks that you're giving up probably isn't all that high because they're going to be you're winning no matter what. Like you're going to be probably in the 20s, like, you know, in terms of pick value. But I think, I mean, how have you done drafting in the later rounds?
Pretty damn good.
Then I think you do it because the thing is, you have Josh Allen, you have you have Diggs, you have Davis. Like when it comes to offensive playmakers, like especially where it counts, really running back's all you need. And when it comes to defense, I mean, there's always, you know, as long as you draft good in the later rounds, I think you'll be fine.
And I personally feel that I don't think it's the running backs that are the issue for our lack of running game. I think it's just our offensive line. Like they're good in pass protection, but when it comes to running, like they just
and that might be the only spot where the picks that you give up might be valuable is in the offensive line.
Yeah, and we've been doing okay. Like I think Spencer Brown was like a 3rd round pick, and he turned out to be a really great tackle or whatever. But yeah, no, I mean, like a lot of our good quality picks have been unfortunately on defense. Like we've hit on defense more, and then a lot of our other picks, like obviously we got Matt Ariza, the punter, but that fizzled obviously. What else? Oh yeah, Khalil Shakir, wide receiver. He had his first touchdown this past week. He looked pretty good.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's just weird. What if I wouldn't be upset? I would be really upset if they gave away a lot of shit for an aging quarterback or running back, but I guess we'll just have to see, wait and find out.
But yeah, I think the CMC rumors to Buffalo, like, that's really interesting, especially because, I mean, I don't think anything's going to come of it, only because historically, when it comes to trades, then the trade deadline in the NFL, nothing ever really happens.
No, but our organization has a lot of ties to Carolina.
Yep.
Our coach and our GM were present in Carolina when he was drafted. I think our GM Bean was like an assistant GM, so he was in the decision making part of that when they drafted McCaffrey. So like they have a good rapport, I think, and the organizations have a good rapport to the point where like they'd be okay with making a trade to our organization because we're on good terms like that. I don't know if I'd want to give up more than a first and a second. And even a first and a second, to me, I don't like the idea of that at all.
I mean, 1 first and 1 second for CMC, to me, when you're kind of in win now mode, I think that's a small price to pay.
Considering our first is going to be a late rounder.
Yes, and also, like, because you look at, like, what the Rams did. Where, like, granted, they traded all their picks in the offseason, but they still traded their picks, and they got, they got some good pieces out of it. So it's like, and they ended up with a Super Bowl out of it. Granted, they kind of fell off the cliff after the Super Bowl, but you have Allen, so your window is going to be open for a while.
Yeah, we're competitive every year, basically. As long as he's playing and healthy, he's going to make us competitive.
You're in the top contender area.
Yes.
And it's like, pretty much right now, it's like, it's you, it's the Chiefs,
Eagles. Who
else in the NFC? Because I really, like, it's obviously not the Packers anymore.
Like 49ers, probably?
No, they're too injured now.
NFL's got them on rank 4 on their power ranking.
Yeah, well,
NFL's really weird.
Yeah, I know. Well, they also they moved the Jets up 9 spots just because they beat Green Bay.
Yeah,
I mean, well, who? Okay, do you mean the Giants because they beat Green Bay, or the Jets moved up 9 spots?
They moved up 9 spots for beating Miami. Sorry.
Yeah, for beating Miami.
Yeah, but they clobbered Miami.
Yeah, but it was still a third stringer. So I mean, granted, that seems to be kind of.
It wasn't a third string defense.
It was kind of a course correction because it was like, oh, you beat, whatchamacallit. You beat the Steelers, but it's the Steelers and they put in Kenny Pickett. So it was like, how good really are you? And then you beat the Dolphins with their third string. And then it's like, okay, maybe you're actually kind of mid.
Rank 5 would be Baltimore, but that's our division or our conference. Tampa Bay was at number 6.
I don't see Tampa Bay as contenders.
They'll make the playoffs, and if they make the playoffs, Brady is kind of clutch in playoffs. You got to admit. Some teams also just kind of fall apart in the playoffs.
You get them there. You get them there.
As the coach, I do not trust him.
Packers are still up there. They were ranked.
They shouldn't be, but okay.
They were ranked 4 previously, but they fell to 8.
The Vikings, I mean, they're 4-1, I think.
Yeah, Vikings are ranked 7.
So, I mean, yeah, maybe they're kind of just taking out the trash. Like, they're not playing good teams, but hey, they still look okay. And Kirk Cousins seems to be decent. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Cook.
It sucks to be a Bills fan because I keep looking at all these teams and be like, we can beat all these teams except for Kansas City. Like, Kansas City is always the 50-50, and we got to beat them to get to the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They also haven't played at home since, in Buffalo since 2020, and it was when we had no fucking crowd. Like, if Kansas City...
COVID,
yeah, and just the way the schedules have, lined up, we've played them 4 or 5 times the past 3 years in Kansas City just because of how the schedule falls.
Yeah.
Which is nuts to me, and that's why it's so important for us to ball out this year and get home field advantage, because I don't think Kansas City is going to be prepared to play in Buffalo
in the winter.
In the winter with our fucking crowd going bananas.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ready for it.
You just got to make sure you have the better record at the end of the year.
It's tough.
Exactly.
It's tough when they're in a really, they could dominate that division now. Like I was hoping Denver was going to get a little bit better and steal a win or two. The Chargers are obviously kind of stumbling a little bit, and the Raiders are just so they're just going to run away with that division.
So I think this is actually a pretty decent segue into like what we think our games next week are going to look into.
Yeah.
Like obviously we've been talking about Chiefs Bills. Again, you're in Kansas City for this game, but
we did win in Kansas City during the regular season last year.
Yeah, and I think that Kansas City could sometimes they're Jekyll and Hyde. They're you look at them when they played the Raiders. Like at first they look like they sucked. You let the Raiders get you 17 points on you. I was like, oh wow, this might be the game where the Raiders actually beat the Chiefs. But then Mahomes did his comeback thing, but they barely beat the Raiders. Now you're going up against a Buffalo team that I think is legit.
Oh yeah, a healthy Buffalo team too. Well, not healthy, but
not healthy.
We also think
reasonably healthy.
There is a possibility Tre'Davious White comes back this week too.
Really?
Yeah, we activated him off of IR. He's finally practicing this week.
Okay then.
I want to say that week 6 was the original target for him to come back when we knew that we were playing Kansas City in week 6.
Okay.
I think we were like, okay, Trey can come back after 4 weeks if we put him on IR in the offseason, which is what we did when we did our rosters. But I think we kind of looked at it and we're like, I think we're just better off sitting Tre'Davious White. As long as we're still winning and we're still competitive and we're still confident with our team, we should just rest him until week 6 and then activate him because, then we don't run the risk of him re-aggravating an injury,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a good chance that I think he's more healthy than we all think. Because I think that they could have brought him back early, but I think they just kind of kept him out because we were still doing all right. And, we just didn't want to get him hurt before this important game.
Yeah.
And the important thing to me, they don't have Hill. So now all we got to do basically is cover Kelsey.
I think losing Hill is going to be it won't seem like it affects them in the regular season, but come playoff time, they're going to wish that they had Hill.
They lost the big play, and I don't know. I think the Bills still have that big play capability.
Yeah, they're still lethal in the red zone thanks to Kelsey and his 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. And Mahomes for that matter. I mean, some of those stupid shovel passes that they do, they're just unguardable. Where they do that shit rollout and the whole offensive line shifts and it's he can keep it. Mahomes could keep it and run, but if he sees a little window, he just shovel passes it to somebody. That shit just looks so hard to defend against. But who's gonna win this game? We usually try to pick our own home games, right? Or not home games, but our own team games. Fuck me, man. I don't know what the score is going to be, but
all I know is that it's going to be a Nance Romo vehicle, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
Yeah, same. Big same.
Now, one thing, because I think the Giants and the Jets are in similar boats. The Giants are 4-1. You're going up against the Ravens this week, which, so far every game seems like, everyone's like, oh, this is the week that so-and-so beats the Giants. And then the Giants end up with the win. And I think the Jets are starting to get to that point where, they're no longer an automatic loss. The Jets aren't going to automatically lose. and they're going up this week against a Packers team that is coming back from London. There was some rumblings that, some players in the Packers locker room were a little worried about losing to the Jets. And so I know we're only in week 6, but the Giants feel like they're very close to being in the position for the playoffs. And if the Jets beat the Packers, I have to start talking about that as well.
About what?
About playoffs.
I would be talking more about the Packers at that point.
Yes. You have to, because you definitely have to ask what's wrong in Green Bay.
Wide receivers.
With the Jets being 4-2 and the Giants being anywhere between 4-2 and 5-1, and you're looking at the games that the Jets have ahead, because we do get to play the Broncos, which, at first I chalked that up as a loss. Now I'm not so sure. Let's see, what other games do we have? The Patriots, that's iffy, because I don't know which Patriots team is honestly going to come out that day. Because, is it going to be the one that just Seal Clubs Lions, or is it going to be one that, just barely looks competitive against the Steelers?
Hot take, I think the Patriots win that game.
They probably do. Though they're going to, I think, I had them in the beginning of the season, they're going to get at least one time against us, if not possibly both. Because it's Bill Belichick. He's got a special place in hell reserved for the Jets. Even though I'm not necessarily sure we really did anything to him.
We still don't know why. And he'll take it to his grave.
If, God willing, if you enter the bye week with either 4-5 or 5-4, and looking ahead, you're facing the Bears, the Vikings, the Lions, the Jaguars, and the Seahawks. Not to mention, we have a flex game against Miami. Who knows where they will be. We do have to play the Bills again in, December 12th? And I don't know what the Vikings are going to be like, but
you could end up 8-9, 9-8.
We could be it'll be December and we'll be
meaningful games.
Yeah, we'll be on those graphics for the playoffs where it says in the hunt. That's exciting. That's exciting for us.
That's the floor for your excitement.
Plus, you knew how that felt in 2016.
No, I did, yeah. Look, listen, here's the thing about the Bills, though. We were always in that weird hunt where at towards the end of the season where it's going through all the playoff probabilities 99 or 100%, and it's Bills 18%, and I'm like, you're telling me there's a chance. Yeah. I like that. It was fun.
And look, right now that's kind of all Jet fans want, because ever since, you can't even really count either of the Adam Gase years. You really have to go back to 2015 to the last time they were playing meaningful games late in the year, because 2016 they really weren't, 2017 they weren't, 2018 they weren't. Adam Gase's first year, even though they were 7-9 that year, they opened up the year 1-6 or 1-7, and they only really started to get better when they had to play the Redskins, the Giants that year because they were bad. I forget who else. I know they played the Cowboys, but that was one of those weird Cowboy years. They had to play the Steelers when they didn't have Big Ben because I think he was injured. So it's you have to go to 2015 to when what was the last time the Jets were playing meaningful games in November, December time. And that would be certainly a step up in the right direction for us, especially if we're in those meaningful games because of Zach Wilson, because we really got to get quarterback right at some point.
He's not shown anything where usually I'm the optimistic one of the group. He hasn't shown anything crazy yet, but I'm not like really kind of signing him off yet.
I mean, honestly, that whole quarterback class looks really whelming.
Yeah.
Like Lawrence doesn't look too good.
Mac Jones.
Well, Mac Jones is injured, so he gets a pass. But
no, he's a Patriot. Fuck him. No passes.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'll second it then. Mills, he's been looking pretty bad lately. Fields doesn't look good. Like it really it really comes down to, of the quarterbacks from that class, the two better ones in terms of like stats honestly might be Mac Jones and Zach Wilson. But they're playing very mediocre ball.
Yeah, that's not really an enjoyable game.
And I mean, Jones doesn't have receivers or no line or any running game. And Wilson has those things, but they seem to be relying a lot on the run game right now. But I'm not going to complain because, hey, look, if it gets a touchdown, it gets a touchdown. I'd rather them take it slow and steady with Wilson's development than, be like, okay, Zach, we're going to, Corey Davis is just going to run a slant route up the middle, fucking, chuck it to him and pray that it's not in triple coverage. They shouldn't be doing that. So, but, that class doesn't look very good. And that's, considering Lawrence was billed as the next inning, that's not good. But, Brennan, what do you think about the Giants?
I pretty much already said everything that I think is going to happen. So, looking past that game, so I expect we'll be 4-2 at that point. Who do we have coming up after that? Let's see. We've got the Jaguars in Week 7, Seahawks, Texans, Lions. Those are 4 very winnable games. So could be 8-2. If everything goes right. And then we've got Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Commanders. So possible 2-2, 3-1 there. So with the hot start, 10 wins is very realistic. But it's a question of whether or not they can keep it up. And I think they've done a great job with to parrot the talking heads, they've done a very good job of not letting Daniel Jones get into situations where he fucks up. The offensive line is a lot better. Andrew Thomas is still the highest graded tackle in the league by 10 points. They're giving him adequate pass protection. They're giving Saquon good holes to run through to just keep up a semblance of a running game, and it's enabling the boots and the play actions, the RPOs. Where Jones has a problem is when he's forced to make a quick decision. It's not even as much the turnovers now as it is oh God, here comes the rush, I'm panicking. They've done a great job of designing plays to get around that. He's taken less sacks in the last couple of weeks, I think. And the defense is getting great pressure. I don't think they're blitzing all that much, but they're still getting adequate pressure rushing 4, rushing 5. So we'll see how these matchups shake out as the season goes on. But 10 wins is doable. A wild card could be doable just because of how weak the NFC is. But we'll really see how it all shakes out. But in terms of next week, previewing the next game, I think Lamar Jackson is just too good for the Giants to handle at this point. Maybe in a year or two, if we play them, we'll have a lot better chance to beat them, but I don't see it. and it's good because I think you take this loss and you refocus, like you kind of wave off the stench of winning, and you're like able to focus back up, and then you'll be extra motivated to win next week against Jacksonville.
Well, you can also have good losses. You know what I mean? Like losing to Baltimore is kind of expected for a lot of people, like for the Giants. But if you lose by like a field goal, you come out of that game feeling good.
Right.
As fans, I mean, the players obviously would beg to differ, but you know, because like losing games like that by a point, like one score, when you're in rebuild mode, means that you're well coached. That means the coaches are getting pretty much everything out of the players like that they can, and that means when you do attract talent and get, you know, better draft picks in there and like kind of trim the fat, so to speak, theoretically you should do better. I mean, you're kind of going through the same thing that the Bills did when McDermott came along and when Allen, you know, joined, where it's like, yeah, we're losing a couple or we're winning a few. Like, really, the first win for us that made us feel like, oh shit, this is a different team, was when Allen played against Minnesota, and we were like 14 points. Minnesota's like 14-point favorites, you know, and that was a good win. But I think you're already there, but you just need like another year or two of rebuild.
Yeah.
No, I think so too. I think after a year or two, we're definitely on the right path. Next year, the schedule is going to be a little harder if we do finish better. I don't know which divisions we're playing, but I expect it to be better. And next year, the playoffs are the goal. It's not going to be like a nice little cherry on top at the end of a good season compared to previous Giant seasons. You know, where like 5 wins was a good season.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, playoffs are a cherry on top right now, but next year they will be the goal. Like, obviously the playoffs is the goal every year, but
Right.
how attainable it is per which team you are is, you know, varying. But I think they will be good enough next year to do it. And the elephant in the room, if you keep coaching him like this, and he continues to play largely mistake-free, I think you bring Danny back. And this is crazy because at the end of last year, I was like, nah, lost cause. I'm sorry, Gettleman jumped the gun. It's not great, but I don't think many other teams are going to be looking. I think that he's going to get a better deal with the Giants than he gets anywhere else. They might not have to franchise tag him. If they have to franchise tag him, it's going to be like $20 million for the first year. And at that point, I'd probably say no. Go draft and let Joe Shane get his guy. We've got like Bryce Young coming out. We've got I don't know any other college players.
So here's like an interesting thing that both of you guys are basically in right now, and I'm fortunate enough to not be in right now. But you have like this thing where a lot of the quarterbacks coming out of the drafts are really not that great. Like there's a couple gems here and there, but they're just not amazing.
Yeah.
So then you have the temptation of like, maybe we should find one that's kind of like already got some experience and, you know, do better. And that's where you get into the Carson Wentz, the Matt Ryan, and then there's, you know, even the fucking Russell Wilson, I guess, would fall into that, where like they do this and it just does not work out.
We're going to bring back Geno Smith next year.
But
Oh God.
You see my point though? Like you're in a position where like you're doing okay with Danny Derps.
Yeah.
And like you're seeing all these other teams struggling with a free agent quarterback or drafting a quarterback. So it's like, what do? Do you stick with something that you already kind of figured out what your limits are and like where your floor is with him and where your ceiling is, and basically just work the offense within that frequency? Or do you roll the dice and like pay for a fucking like free agent quarterback that you're not sure about? Like that might look good on paper, but when he shows up is just ass. Like a Wentz, like a Wilson, like a Matt Ryan, etc. Or draft a guy that could be a complete bust.
Yeah, I know. The safest bet would be to bring him back. It's just a matter of whether or not we lose him in free agency, which I don't like. Let's do a rundown of teams that would be desperate enough to throw money at Daniel Jones. Washington, San Francisco set, Atlanta. They drafted a quarterback this year, right? So they're set.
They got Ritter.
Cleveland is set.
I almost called him the Riddler.
The Riddler. I mean, the meme, and I've said this before, has been Indianapolis.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, how many times are they going to do that bullshit and, and just kind of just say, fuck it, we got to just draft somebody?
Like, because I could say that I can kind of speak from experience with this with the Jets. Is we haven't actually had a decent quarterback season since
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember I was so pissed. He beat the Bills that year too. He stomped us.
Oh, we stomped.
Oh, that was such a bad game.
But then you beat them to keep them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, you did. But that was a Rex Ryan. That was one of the Rex Ryan years too. Man, like it's temper expectations, because one thing I feel like I see from Jet fans a lot is they expect the quarterback to just come out of the gate, guns blazing, like Herbert, like Mahomes. Like, they'll use Mahomes as an example, even though he actually was benched for his first year.
Yeah, they developed him a little bit.
But it's like, because like with Zach Wilson, it's like, like you were saying, he hasn't done anything like to really shine, but he also hasn't been fucking up.
He also hasn't been like really healthy yet, right? Yeah. Like, he's been kind of on and off.
It's been a few injuries. But like Sam Darnold, like, he would have and then he would have another game where he just kind of threw the ball away and he made stupid mistakes.
You would lose games. You would lose more games than win with him.
Yes,
yeah,
because of him.
Yeah.
With Wilson, that was true in the first half of last year, but in the second half of last year, he just wasn't losing. Like, he wasn't winning us games, but he wasn't losing games, and that was progress. And now we can kind of say that he actually won us a game thanks to the Steeler game, where in the fourth quarter, he was just on fire. And as long as he doesn't lose us games, I just have to kind of be a little bit more patient with him. Like, yeah, if he was going out chucking receptions a game, like, I would say, all right, let's kick his ass to the curb and fucking draft another quarterback. But right now I think he's on pace where it's like he's definitely going to get next year for sure, and we'll see where things go from there. But I think things are kind of looking up, but I think people have to be patient with these quarterbacks because I mean, even like when you're talking about Geno Smith a lot, like his Jet years, we didn't exactly give him the best talent. And the one year that we actually finally did give him the best talent, he got punched in the jaw and Fitzpatrick took over. Like, sometimes you just got to be patient with
Wasn't that by his own teammate too or some shit?
Yeah, that was IK Impala.
Yep. And it was over a $600 plane ticket.
Jesus. Well, going back to the teams that might be desperate for quarterbacks, like let's assume Green Bay gets rid of their guy and now they have Jordan Love. But now they got Jordan Love at the end of his rookie contract, so now they suddenly have to make a decision of, do we play him and pay him, or that's a weird situation to be in, if you think about it.
I think they'll do like the NHL equivalent and just give him a bridge contract.
Yeah, like a bare minimum.
Yeah.
But what if Love test the free agent market, because he technically could at that point, all right? Right?
He could. You could just not accept it and be like,
yeah,
pay me or I leave.
Yeah, and then other teams that would be looking for quarterbacks could be the Bucks if Brady leaves. They got nobody behind Brady. They got what, like Gabbert?
Yeah, they're gonna probably need to. They were gonna have to start looking before, and then Brady was just like, "Oh, fine, I'll come back."
Yeah. Atlanta has Ritter. Carolina is still in quarterback hell.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would go with a free agent just because they tried that with Baker and it just backfired.
Well, they have to trade everybody from that quarterback class. Next up is Josh Rosen.
Where is he right now? I don't even think he's on a practice squad. He's got to be somewhere.
He's somewhere.
He's a first round draft pick, so he's gonna have so many opportunities to, survive. Yeah, I mean Houston has Mills, but I think they're pretty much set on trying to get somewhere with him. Cousins is probably staying there, and yeah, Indianapolis is still kind of in quarterback hell also. Weirdly enough, they're doing worse with fucking Ryan than they were with Wentz. Figure that shit out.
Again, Ryan sucks.
Who knows what's going to happen? Well, no, they got Trey Lance over there in San Fran, so that's not an issue. Stafford is getting older. I don't think he's getting so old that he's going to retire. Like, he's going to stay in for a little while, but he has been playing banged up, so who knows what the future holds with him. What's his contract like over there anyway? Is he on a long contract, or is he like one of those short ones, like a 3 or 4 year? Because that's interesting.
Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
No,
not Matt Ryan. Not Matt Ryan. Stafford, Rams.
Oh, I don't know, but he's not. He's getting up there in age too. So
yeah. So I mean, I feel like there's enough wiggle room where like some of these quarterbacks, we might see a quarterback shuffle again, but so far, free agent quarterbacks, there hasn't been a single free agent quarterback move that has worked out for anybody since Brady, basically, right? All these other quarterbacks just have moved and just fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And Wentz did it twice with 2 different teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting environment that we're going to see in the next 2 years with quarterbacks, I think.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to discuss?
Oh, I think we've kind of went.
I think we've
pretty long.
got all of it.
Yeah, we can go ahead and wrap it up here.
Yep.
That was week 6, so I guess we'll just have to see how things go for tomorrow's Thursday night football game, and we'll catch you guys all next week.
Yep.
If we're still alive, if we don't kill ourselves after that Thursday night game.
God.
We'll be fine. It can't get any worse than it did last week.
Oh, just you wait.
It can't
Don't put that
possibly.
jinx on us.
It can't possibly get any worse. 3-3 game ends in tie. Give us a 6-1 scoregami on Thursday night football. That I would love that. I would be like, that would happen maybe at some point during the game, and I would just be like, nobody